Good morning and welcome to Heartland Dual Sport. In today's video we're going to be talking about a tire change. As most of you know, if you've watched our previous video, we're fixing to be making a 2,500 mile trip, and we do know based on the research that we've done, our tires that currently we have are not going to make the trip there and back. So let's get to the video. By the time this video airs, we will be more than halfway through the 2,500 mile trip and or approaching even the return and being home by the time this video airs. What I like to do is I like to make sure that we have at least one video going up a week, and a lot of times I'll have to pre-schedule those so that they're going on while I'm out trying to create other content. This video here we're going to be talking about the tires, the stock tires that come on the KLR 650. As you well know, I enjoy them. They're great tires for what they are. The problem, or maybe one of the problems that the tires do have or get a bad rap for, is they're not known for doing a lot of mileage. Again, this bike is a great bike, straight off the showroom, but everything I can read, you're good for about 2,500, 3,000 miles. We've got over 1,500 miles before we start this trip on the tires. So essentially what I was wanting to do is I was wanting to go with the tires that we've used in the past on the Africa Twin. We also had them on our old KLR, and that is the Moto Tractionator GPS. Nobody has them in stock. I've contacted several tire supply companies, and basically I'm being told that they're, at the time, which was about a month ago, they were 3 to 4 months on back order. So I need the tires before then. I reached out to another guy, and he told me that he had some in that would fit our bike. These tires are actually the Dunlop Trailmax Mission tires. When you get the tires, you're going to be like, man, these are great. They're very heavy duty. I mean, you can tell they got heavy duty sidewalls, and they've got a lot of good reviews. I'd seen a couple of videos where guys are running them on their KLR, and I thought, well, those tires will probably work for me, because most of this trip is actually going to be old back roads and old highways, if you will. I'm trying to stay off the interstates because I don't want to run 75 and 80 all day. It's just not what this bike is designed to do. So I'm going to be taking the old back roads, make the trip a little bit longer, and camp out a little more along the way. So I went ahead and purchased the tires, and I'll tell you immediately, like I said, they're much heavier than the stock tires. Obviously the stock tires have some wear on them, but these are just downright heavy duty tires. The front went on okay, and it balanced okay, and what I've done historically in the past is I'll put my new tires on, get the new tubes in, balance them on my tire balancing little machine that I've got, and then from there I'll go into add some Ride-On. Ride-On is a sealant, kind of like slime, but it also has some balancing properties in it. I don't know how it works, I just know that it's worked in the past. The rear tire, here's where the trouble comes in. The sidewalls on these tires are so stiff that you can't get your hand inside the tire to shove the valve stem down. Now, side note, these tires do say on the side that they're designed for tubeless wheels. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys, and I want to warn you about these tires before you make the same mistake that I did. If this is a tire that you're going to put on your bike, especially if you're going to be doing a BDR or somewhere where you're going to be back roads, back trails, I would strongly consider looking at a different tire. They are so difficult to change, to the point that I went ahead and got AAA before I make this road trip, because I know I do not want to be messing with this rear tire on the side of the highway, or even at camp for that matter. It is just too difficult to do with the tools that I have. Now, I know there's going to be some guys that maybe they've got this or that. I actually have a valve stem chaser tool, if you will, and it's basically a cable you screw into your valve stem and you work your way through the wheel up into the tube, and then you can kind of pull it. In a real world perfect scenario, it sounds great, sounds like it'd work. It was still difficult even using that. So here's what I'm going to suggest. If you're a new If you're new to changing tires, don't buy these as your first set that you're going to change. It's just very difficult. I've changed lots of tires over the years, and I've never had any that were this difficult to get the tube in, to be quite honest. Next, and the other thing, if you're a new rider, don't put these tires on. I've read more than one complaint, and this was one of the issues that I had. We took basically a 100-mile trip on purpose to kind of scrub in the tires, because I don't want to leave here, especially if it's going to be raining, with brand new tires on that haven't been scrubbed in yet. Or when I got around 70, 75 miles an hour, I got a wobble in the front end, or a wobble period in the bike. The wobble was so bad that it reminded me, and if you guys are old Harley Davidson riders, you remember the Road King. It had what was known as the death wobble. I'm getting a wobble in these tires that, to me, reminds you of the beginnings of the death wobble that the old Harley Davidsons used to experience. Now, you can't say that it's my gear and everything else. I've got the exact same gear pack that I rode with the stock tires to Oklahoma and back, and that trip was a little over 500 miles. I've taken this bike basically to its max speed and never had a wobble. And now all of a sudden at 70, 75, I've got a wobble. I did come home, worked on it a little bit, tried to get everything, make sure everything was perfectly in line in case I had missed something, even in the rear wheel, pulling it off, putting it back on. Took the bike back out, and it's still maybe, I don't know, 75 miles an hour is on the verge of what I call scary, and it's just downright unsafe. Now, here's my problem. I don't have any other tires. I can't put the old ones back on because there isn't enough mileage to get me where I'm going and back. So I'm going to take a gamble on these tires getting me there and back. But I can promise you this, as soon as another set of tires come in, even if it's the stock tires that I can get a hold of, I'm pulling these off. There's no reason for what's going on with the bike to be going on if it wasn't the tires. Again, I don't have them fully scrubbed in, so I'll be able to give you a full review down the road, but just my initial thoughts are this. If you're a new rider, don't get them. If you're an experienced rider and you're going to be doing a BDR, especially if you're solo and you're going to, if something happens and you have to change or fix a tire, you're not going to want to do it on the side of the road or on the middle of a BDR. They're that difficult. I don't want to sound like I was throwing in the towel because I got it done. I'm just saying it is very difficult to get these mounted and balanced, and even with them mounted and balanced, I've got a wobble. I do want to say something else. Regardless if you've got a wobbly bike or not, or tires that may appear to be making your bike wobble or not, something to look into if you're going to be doing a lot of solo riding, and this is the Spot. We've done videos on it in the past, and I've also done a video on how you could actually get the service for free. Down below in this video there's going to be a link. Some of those are Amazon affiliate links to where if you buy something we'll get a nickel or whatever. You're not going to see a difference in the cost, but it does help support our channel. Down below there's going to be a link that's basically Spot specific. There's a link, I think, to Amazon for this particular Spot, as well as the service. If you click on the refer a friend service, I've got my ESN number, I believe is what they're asking for. If you fill that out as me referring you, you get $30 off your service, I get $30 credit towards my next service. So essentially, if you got enough of your buddies to sign up under you or with you, you could end up getting service for free. The first 2 years that I had this, just strictly with YouTube alone, I never paid for service. Now again, I'm getting back into the motorcycling. We had to take a break. If you've watched our other video called The Choice, you understand what happened and why we didn't have a bike for a couple of years. But after riding this bike for my 200 miles, I decided, after riding this bike for 100 miles and the wobble that I was getting, I decided this is going to be a good tool to have. I hope I never have to use it, but if I do, there is chance of somebody finding me, period. Because it is a satellite beacon. They'll send rescuers to your location, and then you also have the option to buy additional health, medical, and towing insurance as well, which I went ahead and did on mine. But again, I'm not affiliated with Spot. They're not a sponsor. I'm not an ambassador for them. It's a product that I believe could potentially help you and keep you safe out there. And the number one thing is we want to go out and we want to ride. We want to go out and we want to have fun. We want to be safe while we're doing it, but accidents happen. Every one of us has had an accident happen. That's what the Spot is all about. And in my mind, you can go back and look. It's probably been 5 years ago when I did my first video about Spot, but I thought it coincides with the tires. I don't have any faith in these tires that I'm fixing to take this trip on, and I feel like I'm stuck in a spot where I've got to use the tires or I'm going to miss out on my window of opportunity for the trip. So again, guys, I will give a full review on the tires. Hopefully they scrub in and they're not an issue. As far as the wobble, I hope the wobble goes away, especially with the ride-on, and I know that I balanced them correctly. I've been doing this for a long time. But again, if the wobble continues, I will give you a full update on that when I get back. By the time I get back, I'll have roughly 2,500 miles on the tires. So again, guys, if you like our video, please give us a big thumbs up. We appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. If you know anybody who's new to the KLR or looking for new tires, pass this video along to them. I'd love to hear some feedback from others. I know that after I got back from riding and I experienced the wobble, I just did a real quick Google search, and there's been several people that are reporting a wobble. I will go a step further and tell you that I got Uncle Mike's fork brace up front, so I don't think that there's anything wiggling in the front forks because of the fork brace. Again, the tires are balanced. I've got no explanation. Hopefully it goes away, and when I get back from the trip, guys, I will keep you updated. Again, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. May you have a blessed week. Let's go ride.